I'm Shannon Cogan with Kevin Harnett at Churchill Downs, kicking off Derby Day 145.
What's it feel like to win the Kentucky Derby? And what's it take to get there? We're going behind the scenes to see firsthand, from the backside to the winner's circle.
Whoever wins the Derby today will make big money, but he could make even more after the race. Coming up, the inside story on the big business of bloodlines.
And have you ever wondered how much horsepower a Derby horse puts out? The answer to that and a lot more as we kick off Derby Day 2019 on Wave 3 News.
Happy Derby Day, and thanks for spending it with us on Wave 3 News.
You know, Shannon, the Derby is a sporting spectacle that, after 145 years, never gets old.
You're right about that, Kevin. And something else that never gets old? Winning the Triple Crown. Bob Baffert has already done it twice, but he'd love to do it again this year. Coming up, spend a day in the life of the legendary trainer and his family at their home away from home here in Louisville.
It takes a lot to get to the winner's circle on Derby Day, and for race fans, it can be a daunting challenge to get to the track, too. If you think Derby traffic is tough on the ground, Bart, have you ever wondered what it's like up in the air?
Tremendous amount of airplanes.
Kentucky Derby's a wonderful place to fly.
Blimps, banner tows, commercial airlines,
It's quite a feat.
UPS, and private planes, swarming Louisville by the hundreds.
Corporate America flies in heavily.
Private aircraft, we're going to see about 600 to 700 movements between Wednesday and Sunday.
Todd Walter is in charge of operations for Atlantic Aviation,
We renovated last year.
which handles all private planes arriving and parking.
Derby night is pretty hectic. Sunday's pretty crazy as well. A lot of people working to get it just right.
Taxiways turn into parking lots,
Anywhere from 275 to 325 airplanes on the field.
while over at the tower, 18 stories up, air traffic controllers are keeping a watchful eye on everything,
Said about 30 seconds.
both on the ground
We park all the airplanes in here.
and in the air.
Hotel Lima Golf Bravo.
Like there's a UPS coming in now, 7-6.
Air traffic manager Gary Tucker is in charge of that operation.
We are very busy.
He took me inside a heavily restricted area for a rare look at how they do it.
So he owns all the taxiways.
Yep, there you go. Perfect.
It's busy upstairs and also at ground level
The Bowman Airport.
inside what's called Tracon.
So what we have here,
UPS 267 heavy, turn right 140, file a heavy MD-11, cleared visual square, runway 17 right, caution wake turbulence.
they will give them vectors and guide them right in.
Derby traffic, parking, well, it may be a jam on the ground.
Tremendously busy.
Thanks to these folks,
Everybody's listening.
it's always running safe and smooth
3,000 until fast.
up above.
It's actually pretty easy to get to Churchill Downs if you get here before dawn, because there's not much traffic at 5 a.m. in Louisville unless you're on the backside, as Wave 3 News anchor John Bull found out.
It's 5:30 in the morning. The cat's half asleep. 3 weeks before the Run for the Roses, there was only one Derby horse on the Churchill Downs backside. By my standards, this is early. By Brett Calhoun's standards, this is perfect.
Yeah, we're going to go 5-8.
Time to take By My Standards to the track for a timed workout.
By my standards at 22-1 to win the Louisiana Derby.
He qualified for the Kentucky Derby by winning the Louisiana Derby after only one other win.
It is a day of upsets in New Orleans. By My Standards, ridden by Gabriel Saez, trained by Brett Calhoun, going to the Kentucky Derby, wins today.
An unlikely duo in the darkness. The trainer with 3,000 wins, $78 million in earnings, but never had a Derby starter. The owner, a Madisonville, Kentucky coal man who is overflowing with foolish pleasure.
Felt like we got a good bargain.
Were you ever thinking Derby at the time?
Well, no. I mean, yeah, you always think Derby. I guess they're all Derby horses until you run them the first time, right?
I've really never had a top 3-year-old colt that I thought was a classic kind of horse or distance capable.
On this day, By My Standards whips off a fast 48-second workout. Problem is, his owner was watching, but missed the whole thing.
I would have said so. I had no idea you didn't see.
I was watching the TV trying to see him stand over there.
How hard is it for a trainer in the Derby for the first time to finish first From funny side to mind that bird, 6 times in a 7-year span, the winner of the Kentucky Derby was trained by somebody who had never run a horse in this race before.
A Derby winner can come from anywhere. I think it's wide open, and I think, you know, a newbie, it's, you know, highly possible. I hope I'm able to get it done.
You know, maybe the stars are lining up. You always hope you got a horse that's going to improve at the right time, this and that, and you always hope you can get here, especially being a Kentucky boy. I mean, this is the real deal.
They're super confident and superstitious at the same time.
Life as a horse trainer, we're naturally nervous people. I think we've all seen so many things happen that's what keeps us a little bit on the edge. You know, you can have the best horse, the preparations can go perfect, everything can be great, and the day before the race you can come with a cough, bruised foot. I mean, we've all had our hearts broke hundreds of times with things like that.
Attention horsemen, the racetrack is now open for training.
By the time the track actually opens, Brett's yawning. His nerves are calming down. Then, one unanticipated roadblock.
If you're driving the Wave 3 news media vehicle, please move it out of the horse path.
The road is blocked by our news car. By my standards, that's a risky rookie mistake.
Still to come, a day in the life of the Bafferts and what's become their home away from home.
Plus, remembering an icon of Churchill Downs, how the legacy of John Asher will live on forever. It's all ahead on Derby Day 145 on Wave 3 News. Exclusive Derby Day 145 coverage right here on Wave 3 News continues. I'm Kevin Harnett along with Shannon Kogan.
Could this be the year that trainer Bob Baffert completes a trio of Triple Crowns? The quest starts today in Louisville, which has become a second home of sorts for the Bafferts. This hotel suite is where Jill and Bob Baffert, along with their son Bodie, call home Derby week.
It's easy and we're in and out so much.
They don't worry about being over the weight limit with their luggage because it goes on the plane with the horses.
I brought too much stuff, but better than not enough, because you know the weather can change and then maybe there's a last minute event you need to go to, and it's just easier to put it in the suitcase.
Bob always packs several pairs of his trademark glasses. Because you brought two of the exact same
I have
glasses.
the exact, I always have a backup.
Right.
You have to have a backup. But the reason I wear glasses is because I have bad allergies and my eyes water a lot.
As for his Derby Day tie, he'll make the call that morning. You should pay attention to the color.
Like if I feel really, really strong, I'll wear like red, something like the Tiger Woods, you know. And so I wore red for the Triple Crown. You know, I felt good about that.
But this year, you likely won't know which of his 3 Derby contenders he's wearing red for. As for 14-year-old Bodie, he also chooses his own tie, even though Mom still makes sure he has most of his other necessities.
But I don't want her to control what I wear, so.
Is she controlling?
No, but she can't baby me through my life, so I have to do some things by my own, because I don't want to jump into the world and then be like, Mom, what should I wear?
If they don't win, Jill always points out the bright side.
When we do get beat in a big race, the first thing she says, well, at least I can wear this dress again because nobody saw it.
On Derby Day, after going to the backside, they'll spend time relaxing in this room. Bob still has horses to check in on in California, and maybe even make a few merchandise sales on BobBaffert.com.
I think we only have 5 left because we ordered 10.
Up next, the first Kentucky Derby without John Asher, how his legacy will live on forever. This is exclusive Kentucky Derby coverage on Wave 3 News.
I'm Kevin Harnett with Shannon Kogan, excited to be with you on this exclusive Derby 145 day coverage right here on Wave 3 News.
It will be a memorable but very different Derby Day this year without the beloved face of John Asher. John died of a heart attack at the age of 62 in August. Still, as Wave 3 News reporter Connie Leonard shows us, here at Churchill Downs, Asher's legacy will live on forever.
Those who knew and loved the man who truly knew and loved the Kentucky Derby are certain his spirit is among us.
I still talk to him. We've got 32 luxury suites. And so
As loved ones and colleagues miss John Asher's iconic voice, impeccable horse racing knowledge, and welcoming ways for Kentucky Derby 145, childhood friend George Lindsay is confident he's here. And he's thrilled his buddy's legacy will live on.
I think that's such a great statement about who he was and what he was.
A statement 120 miles south of Louisville.
What's up, what's up? It is 3 minutes past the top of the hour.
We just click at the very beginning, render in and out.
Going to college was not a guarantee. As a matter of fact, it was a luxury.
In 1977, John's love began to run deep for Western Kentucky University.
It changed your life. John Asher grew up on a dirt road outside of Clarkson, Kentucky, in a farmhouse that was sitting on not concrete blocks, but rocks.
What many people don't know, John was painfully shy until teachers and classmates started touting his journalism skills. And one other thing.
He had a wonderful voice. He had a voice built for a mic.
And the perfect words to go with it, says friend and retired sports information director Paul Just.
Universities have a way of bringing out people.
It gave him that confidence to take that next step to apply in Louisville and get a job at Wave Radio and then WHAS, and then that led to Churchill Downs.
Confidence that made John the man everyone wanted to be around.
Horse owners, millionaires, billionaires. You know, one of the first people, you know, that the Derby trainers and owners would ask for after winning the Derby was, where's John?
Friends say it was sort of a tradition of John's to walk these steps up to the Henry Hardin Cherry statue, turn around and look over the city down below, thinking about what his future life would be. And then he'd recite the Western motto, "The spirit makes the master." Its meaning?
That nothing is written until you decide what you want your future to be. And that's what we thought it meant, is that we could be anything.
John's determination made him a newsman and corporate leader, but at heart, he was a romantic who loved Kentucky, and nothing was more Kentucky than the Derby.
It's beautiful, it's gorgeous, it's luxurious, it's the sun shining and it's 75, and it's everything that's right about Kentucky, and I think that's what captured John.
John credited WKU for that passion and always paid it forward.
He definitely had WKU in his DNA.
John made frequent trips to Western to mentor students, host events, and was a loyal sports fan. Just like Churchill, his promotion of WKU was 24/7. He never stopped spreading the red.
I don't think you could put a price tag on the value of what John Asher did for our programs.
That's why his sudden passing was so difficult for so many at Western, Churchill, and beyond. Thousands paid their respects.
Honestly, had no idea that this city would just envelop him the way they did. It's just been amazing.
Because Western's love for John Asher and his family also runs deep, and because he embodied the spirit makes the master, his impact will continue.
There aren't many things in the world that are going to last forever, but this scholarship endowment will. So 10 years from now, 50 years from now, 500 years from now, we'll still be awarding scholarships in John's name.
Among initial gifts, Churchill Downs, Brown-Forman, and Woodford Reserve made the John Asher Memorial Scholarship Fund the beneficiary of the 2019 $1,000 and $2,500 Mint Julep Cups, with his family there to see it.
I don't think any of us would have ever imagined the impact that he truly made, but that was made very clear today. And I'd say myself and my entire family are just extremely humbled.
I think it just is really cool that his spirit is going to be at Western, it's going to be in Louisville, and it's all over Churchill Downs in the Derby.
Happy Derby 145. I'm Kevin Harnett at Churchill Downs, where you can literally feel the energy this Derby morning. It's all built on horsepower.
Pure muscle, built for speed. Have you ever wondered how much horsepower a horse actually generates? It turns out one horse delivers a lot more than 1 horsepower.
Horsepower is a unit of measure, defined as 550 foot-pounds of force per second, which is equal to 745 watts. A thoroughbred weighs about 1,000 pounds and is able to hit speeds between 40 and 50 miles per hour. So when you do the math, you find out that these horses are delivering about 15 horsepower each. It's quite a bit less than a pony car that runs 8-mile drag strips. But watching these ponies run 8 furlongs or more at full throttle is just as impressive. There's no doubt horsepower will be the keys today.
You need a lot of that, a little luck, and a good bloodline. Wave 3 News anchor John Bull has more on the big business of breeding.
If I told you this horse was going to make $25,000 in the next 3 minutes, you might call me an exaggerator. But this is Exaggerator walking to the breeding shed for his 2 o'clock, $25,000 appointment to make a baby. 3 times a day at 8, 2, and 7 p.m., 20 stallions at WinStar Farm are scheduled to make babies. It's an immaculate full factory with 150 employees.
Number one thing is make sure the mare's happy and healthy and in heat to be here.
From mid-February through mid-June, Veronica Reed is kind of a midwife when it comes to conception.
We have vests that we put over our chests, and we have helmets. You obviously have a lot of feet flying around your face or kicks or whatever, so we try and protect our vitals that way.
The Studley lineup includes More Than Ready. More Than Ready for the 3 mares he'll meet today at $80,000 per session. That's right, up to 3 times a day for 4 months.
How can they do that?
Healthy sexual appetites. I believe in the wild they do the same thing. We wouldn't do anything wrong to these stallions, for these stallions. Most of them have that drive. They would do it more than that if they could.
Derby winner Super Saver, at the Super Saver rate of only $30,000, is paraded in front of potential breeders. Derby winner Always Dreaming, only $25,000. Then they trot out Tiz Now, the only back-to-back winner of the Breeders' Cup Classic. A giant of a beast, almost 17 hands high, 1,500 pounds, and $50,000 if you want his baby. Outside for 22 hours each day are the results of last year's work. The 2-month-old thoroughbred toddlers are learning to use their legs, eat, and grow. They're right next to the moms, who just delivered them after 11 months of pregnancy. According to Jockey Club data, the average purchase price of a Kentucky weanling is $75,000, but the average lifetime earnings is $30,000. Doesn't sound like much of a money-making endeavor, but it sure can be.
The cream rises to the top, and the top horses earn, can earn quite a bit of money and go on to have successful breeding careers. And some aren't quite as athletic. I wanted to play in the NHL, but I didn't. And it's the ultimate, David and Goliath sport. Obviously, we're very lucky here at WinStar, and there's a lot of really top level operations, but. We get knocked off by, the smaller guys on a daily basis.
Just around the corner, the deed is done. The deal is done. It's impossible to predict if this one will produce a Triple Crown winner. Now, it's up to Mom's Milk and the Bluegrass at a farm that's always dreaming of Derby success.
Only time will tell who winds up in the winner's circle this year.
And we're closing in on post time. Just a little over 10 hours to post.
Stay with Wave 3 News all day long for exclusive coverage from Churchill Downs. We're so glad to be with you.
And as we get ready for Derby 145, here's a taste of what it's like to win the Roses.